Welcome to the Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a show that is a central hub and safe space for authors to share their stories. The Bold Book with Dr. Denise begins now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bold Book of the Day. Today's Bold Book of the Day is Little Monsters. I want to make sure I get it right. Mini Monsters, Big Feelings by Sharisse Ramos. Welcome,
Absolutely.
Sharisse.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to have you because you have this beautiful book, well written, and with a great message. And it's about something that is dear to my heart, mental health.
Yes, here's the book.
Look how beautiful. I love the illustrations. I love the message. Please tell us about who you are and why was it important to write this book?
Yes. So again, my name is Sharisse, and honestly, with my background, so I am a clinical social worker working as a clinical therapist, and I have been, I want to say, in the field for about 10 years working in the education system, starting with high school students, then transitioning into elementary and then pre-K. So I have seen a lot of, I want to say, twists and turns. And speaking of developmentally, how children can start off in pre-K and then how social interactions can contribute to behaviors, decisions, feelings, all of those things from pre-K up until high school. So I felt like it was really important to write a book that was not only geared towards children, but also towards parents, educators, practitioners that can use the material and the concepts within sessions or within the classroom. So even though the book has a story which focuses on emotions, right? And what do emotions look like? They also come with coloring sheets or lesson plans, right? Principal activities to not only enhance the concepts of the book, but also to have a little bit more of like a wraparound in terms of some of the skills and concepts. So, for example, with the children's book, I have in the back not only a letter to parents and educators, right, and how to foster social emotional relationships, but then also I have print and play activities and coloring books, right? So that way each week, maybe a practitioner or a teacher can use the characters to create lessons, right? What does sadness look like? How can we navigate through sadness? So I'm a little bit passionate about it, or a lot of it passionate about it, as you can tell, because I think that it is very important to figure out how to reach kids, especially with the different age groups and how that affects whether or not they're actually listening.
Wow. Were you very in tuned to your emotions as a child?
Yes, honestly, I come from a pretty big family, and I have two older sisters and one younger brother. And my mom is one of seven, and every single one of my mom's siblings, or most of them, have four kids. So as you can imagine, it is a large family, and I had a pleasure in watching and observing the adults around me, right? And I feel like when you ask about emotions, sometimes I was more so intuitive to the adult emotions around me, and I would mirror that more so than identifying what are my own emotions, right? So if my older sister is really sad, I can't understand why she's sad, right? Because she's in high school and I'm just younger than her, but I can see what that emotion looks like. So then I feel sad because she feels sad. So again, there's that framework in terms of identifying what are your emotions and what are some of the emotions that you're mirroring from the people that are essentially leading by example. So it took me a while to navigate through and think, okay, I can feel that emotion because someone I love is feeling that emotion, but how do I really feel? So it was a little bit of a journey for me, in terms of verbalizing it, identifying it, reflection, awareness, all of those things. So it's still a bit of a process, but yes, from a very young age, I was introduced to what emotions look like and how that can manifest in behaviors.
How did you get it? Because it seems like you were in this big world with, so many different people and mirroring their emotions. How did you finally get it for yourself? Like, I need to um, to focus on how I feel? What made you really like, snap into it and say, okay,
Very, very good question.
yeah.
Very, very good question. And in reflecting and thinking about that, I think is when I started having my own experiences, right?
Okay.
So, because a lot of my siblings and cousins were a lot older than me. So, for reference, my sister is almost 10 years older than me, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
before I was able to have my own experiences, here I am, a little kid, watching everything, learning, observing, that kind of a thing. But then when I get into school, let's say my earliest memory maybe is kindergarten or first grade, and I had a crush on this boy. And I don't know, I guess I thought he was cute or whatever the case may be, right? First grade, kindergarten. And he did not like me. He did not like me. And there would be moments where I thought, okay, maybe Timmy, I guess, would pay a bit more attention to me when we're in group together, we're reading stories together, that kind of a thing. But no, he's always paying attention to Susie or whatever, right? So then I have to tell myself and say, how does that make me feel, right? So I'd be like, I'm
Mm.
going in between sad, but then I kind of feel mad. So then I'm like a little bit frustrated. So it was like once I started having my own experiences, and then I could kind of use the experience I had from watching my older siblings or my mom or whatever the case may be, and then think to myself, okay, I know my sister felt this way. Is this what sadness looks like? Right. So then I
Mhm.
kind of use my own experiences and kind of see if they're aligned with what I saw to try to make sense of it. But then as I continue to get older and have more experiences and realize individually people can react or respond or carry different emotions with them in any given situation. So I kind of separated myself a bit from having to sort of use my past experience, I mean, the past experience or my family members that I
Mhm.
was observing to explain how I was feeling with my own emotions. So it
Mhm.
was a bit of a process, but I did get more intuitive with identifying my own emotions as I
Mhm.
got into my own experiences.
Okay. Hmm.
Mm,
Do you have workshops?
I don't, but
Girl, you like I'm seeing a workshop up in here. Okay.
I know, right? And it's
And a workshop
interesting.
for children, and your parents must accompany you, or an adult
Mhm.
must accompany you, because they could be learning from you also how to tap into their
Yeah,
own emotions,
yeah, yeah. And I like that. I like that you mentioned that because I felt inspired to work on a curriculum. So
Mhm.
that's where I'm kind of at now, which
Mhm.
maybe synonymously could have something to do with workshops. But yes, my vision right now in terms of making all of this transferable into, again,
Mhm.
practitioners being able to use materials, teachers, parents, that kind of a thing. So what I'd like
Mhm.
to do is bring a curriculum into the school setting and
Yes,
say,
yes.
talk about Periwinkle Blue, for example, is the character in my book who deals a lot with sadness. So the whole idea is that Miss Blossom is the teacher, and
Mhm.
each one of the students in her classroom have an emotion that they are sort of stuck with, right?
Mhm.
And there are different things that make them feel that emotion. So Miss Blossom gives them tools, interventions, techniques to figure out how to navigate through those emotions. So to your point, everybody can feel sadness, right? Maybe it looks different in a child versus me as an adult, but there are techniques and tools and interventions that can help in navigating through those emotions. So I want
Mhm.
to make it so that way, to your point, parents and the teachers and the educators that are driving these lessons home can also get some benefit from it too and exploring their own emotions. So making
Yes.
it as well rounded as I can really is the goal.
Yeah, I believe that this is a program that will be well needed in the educational industry, especially for young people. So those tap on those doors. Yeah, yeah. The,
Absolutely.
definitely go into the educational department and ask, how can we got to talk, because
Yeah.
how can you be a more prominent figure, or not even you, but the tools, the book? Because
Yes,
you don't
yeah.
need to be there. You could do the training and
Mm,
then leave your intellectual property with them for a fee. So I
mhm.
believe, girl, this is huge. I love it. Tell me more about. You said the parental. Um, what's the character's
Yeah,
name?
so really exciting. Actually, I should show you while I have them up here.
Yes.
So this is the cover, right? And this is
Mhm.
Miss Blossom. So obviously she's a teacher. And then
Mhm.
we have Crimson. And just by looking at him, you can kind of guess what emotion that is.
Okay. Crimson
So
is mad, everybody.
right, exactly. So the idea too is color association, right? So that kind of helps in identifying with emotions. So I want to say forever now we've associated blue maybe with sadness or red with anger. So to kind of make it a little bit more unique, I
Mhm.
use the color associations, but name them with those colors. So, like crimson red, right? For example, his name is not red, but his name is crimson,
Uh-huh.
uh, which utilizes the color red to show anger. Then you have mulberry, and mulberry is a color name for purple, right? Which is scary. You can see him shaking a bit. Then you have daffodil, and daffodil is happy, always happy,
Mhm.
right? And daffodil yellow, yellow is bright, making it happy. Then you have marmalade, another color for orange, which is worried, could be nerves. And then you have periwinkle blue, who represents sadness. And then you have emerald, who represents calm, right?
Mm.
So all of the emotions are here. And one of the things I think is important too is you might wonder, right? Happy. How is Miss Blossom helping navigate children through being happy, right? Happy is a good thing. Why would
Right.
anybody need techniques?
Navigation, yeah. Why would
Exactly, exactly, right?
work yourself through it? Mhm.
Exactly. But it's important to remember that happiness can mask other feelings, right?
Mhm.
So you want to be aware of what that looks like. So, for example, a child can have had some type of a trauma. Let's say, for example, a loss of a pet, right?
Mhm.
And they maybe not are not processing that because they don't really understand what that means. So
Mhm.
they're navigating through that emotion with happiness. And it's almost
Mhm.
like as adults, we call that putting on a front or pretending, right? But yes,
Yes.
children can mask their emotions without even realizing it. So the real takeaway is to lean into what those emotions are. So yes, happy is a great thing, but if we are using happiness to mask anger, if we are using happiness to mask being scared, right? Then there could be something deeper there at the root that could be a teachable moment or teachable opportunities for, again, parents, educators, that kind of a thing. Like it's okay to be sad. If sad things happen, yes, we can be sad. You know what I mean? Rather than like, no, let's distract ourselves and let's do something that'll lift us up. Yes, that's good, but let's process through the sadness first. So that's kind of just an example. But
Mhm.
yes, so different things will come up for them. And then Miss Blossom will just, I want to say, ask those questions that form some awareness. And that is just a small scope of the ways that she can help them in navigating through. But yeah.
Oh, I love this book. It's beautiful. I can't wait to get my hands on there because I have two grandchildren that
Oh,
I'd love to,
nice.
give them this as a tool to learn to identify. I mean, they have those things in school now. I know my granddaughter is pretty much more aware than I think I
Mhm.
was when I was growing up. She talks about the different colors of, what mood are you in, or
Mhm.
and she color code them too. So I think she'll appreciate this book.
It's awesome.
And I love that you have spaces for them to color, to spend time working on something else while they're thinking about their emotions, or work on their emotions through coloring. I love it.
Exactly, exactly. And if I have time or an opportunity before we end, I have some principal activities that I can show on my screen just so that people can get more insight to how these stories can be transferable into lessons and activities that really foster the identifying of the feelings and how to navigate through them.
Listen, I'm all for it. Go ahead, pull it up, because so the people who are listening on the radio, you guys will not get to see this,
Mhm.
but you can see it if you go to my YouTube channel, Bold Book of the Day. Okay, so you will be able to see what we're talking about here, or what Sharisse is talking about here. Sharisse has given us lots of great information to help our young people navigate their emotions, and I love that you said lean into your emotions. And
Yeah.
that's a really great advice, because a lot of times we try to run from the emotions because we don't want to feel sad and we don't want to feel angry. And sometimes you need to process these things. Why are you feeling angry?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So, what I like to do is if I am unable to share, I
Hmm.
can also send you the link to the website where the activities are there so that
Yeah.
we can share them. Because I do think it could be really, really good to enhance the story with
Yes.
printable activities, right? To kind of,
Hmm.
again, drive home those lessons because some kids
Yes.
learn by being read to, and then some kids actually have to do an activity to drive home some of those points. So I
Yeah.
want to make it well rounded for everyone. So this is an example, right? I remember I was talking about each character having an
Hmm.
emotion, right? So Crimson
Hmm.
is anger, and it says, right, Crimson sometimes experiences moments of anger and frustration,
Hmm.
which can lead to explosive outbursts. It is completely normal for children like our mini monster Crimson to express their emotions. Parents, educators, and practitioners can use strategies to help children manage and navigate these emotions effectively, right? So, with that being said, the next thing is so it's a print and play activity. So I have these on my website and it's inexpensive. I think it's about $2 to $3, right? And
Hmm.
what you do is you're identifying the emotion, but then you're cutting out the cube and you're taping the sides together. So now, when you're sitting on either a desk or a table or whatever the case may be, you can make a game out of it, right? So it has the instructions there where you roll the cube. What did it land on? Maybe we can practice doing this. Did this help in calming that anger down or calming those frustrations down, right? So sometimes it is drinking water or listening to music. I also like to tell young kids and parents, everybody, because it's really easy to sort of think about it in this way. Our emotions as a battery, right? So
Hmm.
sometimes we're at a 90%. Sometimes we're at a 90%. And what we need to do is figure out how to get us down to maybe about a 20%, because maybe 20% we can function through that, right? So maybe drinking water takes you down to 80%. But hey, that's still pretty high. So now I need to listen to some music, and that's taken down to a 40%. So it's kind of navigating through which techniques and tools work for you, because not everything works for everybody, and that's also okay, right? So it's almost like trying things on for size. What fits you? What techniques work for you? But the more you have, the more you can choose from, the more likely you will calm yourself down or become in a more regulated state when you do either of these things. And then the last page is fill in the blank, right? Maybe the ones that I provided in the template aren't going to work or they're not feasible, right? Maybe water is not allowed in the classroom or snacks are not allowed in the classroom, but maybe the teacher has a calming corner, and maybe there are specific things in the calming corner that they can put within the box. So that's just a little bit of an overview to some of the activities that I wanted to provide in the classroom in a therapy office, because as a therapist, when I work with kids, I was also utilizing books that had emotions in them or had specific situations, because it just drives home the point a little bit better when it comes to sharing with kids.
How did you become this phenomenal woman? I feel like, you know, so enlightened.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Honestly, I have to pay homage to my ancestors, right? Like honestly. Um,
Right.
so my parents are from Honduras, small little place in Central America, right? And they came here at young ages to America, and they really had to try to make things work. And
Mhm.
honestly, their experience, again, like I said, I am a person who likes to be led by example, likes to watch the older people around me and to learn from them. And my parents came here only speaking Spanish, and obviously being Afro Latina, Afro Latino, you're not oftentimes accepted in either aspect of what you feel you relate to. So sometimes
Mhm.
Black Americans didn't accept them, but then also people that came from Spanish speaking languages didn't accept them. So it was always trying to navigate between who I am internally, but also what the external environment is giving me. So I feel like in watching their experiences and watching my mom get her master's, become a guidance counselor, also work with children, watching her siblings, right? Also go to Columbia, become teachers, become nurses. I just feel like I had a lot of really good examples, and I feel blessed and grateful that I come from a family with a lot of women, but also men, but a lot of women that really rise to challenges, are intuitive. My older sister, she works with Essence, and she has her own production companies. Like, I just feel like I have a lot of people in my village, in my team, that support me and that I can grow and learn from. So yes, I'm very, very blessed.
So when people say they come from greatness, you're a perfect example. I come from greatness.
If you put it like that, yeah.
Okay. And I also know that your mother wrote a book. Oh, not too
Yes,
long ago.
yes.
Yeah.
She also, yep, she wrote like a memoir, right? Because again, coming from her experiences and her challenges, being one of seven, being raised Jehovah's Witness, having assimilate in the Bronx, like
Yeah.
just a lot. So yes, that's another another
Maybe,
instrumental person
listen,
in
maybe you can recommend her book for the bold
right?
today.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Wow. What advice do you have for young people that find themselves in the same kind of predicament? They come from a place where they, don't know the language when they come to a new world. Or, I mean, that wasn't the case for you, but it was the case for your parents. But it
Mhm.
was a lot of struggling just trying to fit in. What advice do you have for people that are just trying to fit in?
Yeah, I would honestly say open up your community, right? A lot of times we tend to lean in the spaces where people are like us, look like us. And yes, don't get me wrong, there's comfort in there. But maybe at heart, you're like, I don't know, a super Lego fan, or you like to read romantic novels, but there's community in every aspect of who you are individually. So sometimes it's not about trying to fit in into those easy spaces or those comfortable spaces, but maybe it's about opening yourself up, right? And then in opening yourself up, that is how you find a little bit more of who you are, by who's around you and who you can learn from. And if your space or your circle is so small, it
Mhm,
just leaves you very limited, right, to figuring out that self discovery and self identity and that kind of a thing. So,
mhm,
my advice for young people is open up your circles. Do not just rely on those comfortable spaces, right?
mhm.
Lean into what is uncomfortable, because benefits can come from that.
Yes, you are so right. I believe that you're smart and driven and well educated, and you are giving some sound advice. So, what advice would you give to a young person that is looking to go into college and they can't figure out, they don't know what it is that they want to do right now? What advice can you give them?
You know what? That is a really good question. And the advice will come from my own personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in high school, it was specialized to focus on what you were going to be doing when you went into college. And you could not tell me I was not going to be a teacher. Like, I thought I was going to be an elementary school teacher. My life was going to be planned out for me. It's super fine. Everything is good. Then when I went to college and I had my first ECE, early childhood education course, it was good. I don't get me wrong, I passed my class, but the passion was not there. And I
Mm-hmm.
was kind of distraught because I'm like, oh my God, I've been working towards this since I was in high school. What am I going to do? And so the advice I got, which is the advice I'll give, and this is from an advisor, she said, take every intro course you can think of. And when you
Mm-hmm.
take those intro courses, sit in them, sit with yourself and think, is this something that I can do? Is this something that I feel passionate about? Is this something that I feel like I can be intentional? I can be purposeful. I want to say, contribute to society, that kind of a thing. I took
Mm-hmm.
criminal justice. I took forensic science. I just thought maybe I'll be a lawyer. Maybe I'll be this. And honestly, the last place I thought I would find my passion is that social work class.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last place. And I went, and I met a great professor. And ever since then, the stars were kind of aligned. So, my advice is don't get stuck. Even if you don't know where you're going to land,
Mm-hmm.
into those hobbies. Maybe your hobbies can give you an idea of an intro course that you might like to take, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
idea is you never know what fits you until you're actually experiencing a little bit of it. So maybe it's taking a mentorship, maybe it's taking an internship, putting yourself in places to see if things fit for you. And if they don't be afraid to pivot. That's how that's the advice I can give. Do not be afraid to pivot.
Yeah, that's really great advice. I love it. And it's a kind of a way to find yourself because you're taking all these intro classes, you're learning about yourself also. So that's yeah,
Exactly.
that's a great idea. It's good advice. Good advice.
Thank you.
So now that you navigated through school and you're this great therapist, what can we look to see in the future that will tie in all of this so that you can serve more people?
Yes. Now, that is a huge question. And honestly, I'm passionate both about being an author, but
Hmm.
also passionate about being a clinical therapist.
Hmm.
So, with tying both of those in, I really, really would like to do a little bit of what you're mentioning, right? Not only do the workshops, but again, do curriculums and bring what I am working on in terms of my authorship into my clinical spaces that I
Hmm.
can, going into those educational settings, because I feel like, what is the old slogan they had? Each one, teach one, or something like that, right?
Hmm.
So
Yes,
I feel
yes.
like the more I can put those tools and techniques out there, the more someone else will be like, hey, this worked for me. You should try it. And then it kind of just goes even from there. And in the whole, it could kind of change communities as a whole. So it's really ambitious, but really the idea is making these skills and techniques palatable, realistic, relatable, so that way people can bring them into their homes, into their environments. And then again, each one teach one, right? I did it, it worked
Hmm.
for me, you should try it too, that kind of a thing. So
Yeah,
that's really the goal. But specificities will come in
yeah.
terms of what that looks like. But yes.
I'd love to have you. We have for the past 8 years ceremony or not a ceremony, a conference or a seminar. Pardon me, a
Mm,
seminar every year for the past 8 year about mental health, and each year we specify a different group to work with, and we've done mental health year for men, and we call that year men mentally strong. And
mm,
this year I'm thinking, we were thinking about it last year to make this year focus on children, so I'd love to have you come and be one of our guest speakers,
oh, that'd be
or one of our panelists, and share more of this, and how people can help their children navigate their emotions and strengthen their mental health.
that would be incredible. And I am interested and open to all platforms and opportunities because I am passionate about the message. And I think that in all aspects, environments, parts of the world, I really want to make it so that way everyone can take something from it. So I think those opportunities are the ones that I am like yearning to be a part of, right? Because I
Mhm.
know people are going to be in that room that are going to take away what they're hearing and then bring it into their homes and their environments. And yes, I would love that. Would absolutely love
Um,
that. Thank you.
you're welcome. So many great lessons that you've shared, and you've only been here for a few minutes, and you've shared so many great lessons. This is, important, and I think enlightening, not just for me, but for parents. It's
Mhm.
great for children to have the tools, but sometimes parents, we're not even aware that our children are not leaning into their emotions.
Exactly. Exactly.
When I was growing up, it was, children need to be seen and not heard. You remember those
Mhm.
days?
It's true. It's
And
true.
it's we can't have that now. Certainly, children. Well, we can't even try because the children nowadays, honey, they are more outspoken.
Yeah, yeah. I heard from one of my clients earlier today, and I don't even know if this is a popular phrasing or terminology, but she was saying how, as I want to say, the younger generations, right, are pushed forward into an awareness of mental health. They bring those home to their parents. And it's kind of like, oh, this is what helped me calm down. And so it's like kind of happening in the reverse, right? Where our parents didn't help us with our emotional intelligence. But now that we know more, we can go back and help them with that, because they were probably, if that's what they taught us, then only imagine what was taught to them, right? Like, no, no emotions, nothing. Get through it, survive. That's all you have to focus on. So yeah.
It's true. I remember I was going through a lot when I was young, and I doubt if anyone asked me about it. I kept those feelings inside. My parents, my mother left when I was 3, and my father died about 6 weeks later. And I don't remember anyone sitting down and asking me, "How do you feel?" You know,
right.
and those feelings stayed with me until adulthood, because I was feeling uncertain, like things will be taken away really, like loved ones will be taken away really quickly, and that scared me. But who did I have to talk about that? My parents or the adults around me didn't know those things were available, or if they did know, they didn't feel like you needed them at the time. And so I'm so grateful that we live in such a vast, or a very different time, where children are not only talking about it, but they're leading the conversation.
Right. There you go. I like that. They're leading it, right? Yes.
Yes. Because I know my granddaughter comes home and talks about different emotions and different colors. And so I know she would appreciate this book. And she's only 7 years old, so I know she'll appreciate this book. You know, tell me about the 3 most influential people in your life.
It's a good one. 3 most influential people in my life. Okay. Well, I definitely have to say my mom.
Yay.
Have to say her. She has led the way in terms of everything that has to do with my mindset, my perspective, my goals, my dreams, just feeling like I'm capable of accomplishing things. Yes. So for sure, her. And then I have to say my oldest sister. She has shown me that you can pivot and you can be successful. And honestly, your strength really comes from within. And it's the value that you bring to situations and environments. And that is what you need to lead with, right? What is the value that you're bringing? So for her, I would definitely say my oldest sister, Jasmine, shout out to her. She has shown me a lot of ways in leading by example, for sure. And then lastly, oh my God, I feel so bad having to narrow it down. But if I'm being honest, I recently began to get closer with my brother's best friend's sister. Alyssa Mona, who actually introduced me to you. And she's influential because she is just like me, and she's always looking for new opportunities. How can she bring value? How can she show up in the world? She has a cupcake business. She's also an author. Like, I just think so in terms of innovation and influences and those kinds of things, I would have to say all 3 of them seamlessly have helped me feel inspired. So yes.
Wow, that is so nice. Mona is one of my favorite people also. Yes. Oh my God, I love her. She's so creative. She's always thinking something new. And if ever I have an idea that is not well thought out and I have a meeting with her, it's clarity.
I know. Yeah. She's so incredible. She will flush through those ideas with you. She will make you feel comfortable in your choices and what your decisions are. So yes.
That is her superpower.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh wow. And you named some really great people, your mom and your sister. I know your sister. I've met her at one of Mona's events, and I know your mom has written a book, so I know you have, some authors in there. And I know you have more coming. I'm looking forward to it. I can hear it in your voice. I can feel it that you have so much more to offer to the world, and I'm here for it. And any way I can provide a platform to help you shine, I'm here for you, because when you're amazing, you can't go unnoticed.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I sincerely appreciate you for having me. This is my first ever kind of interviews / speaking engagements. So
Oh,
I am
wow.
learning. Forgive me
And
for
then you and then you land another one because come June we have Knitted Together for our mental health for children this year, and I can't wait to speak to the girls and to say, hey, ladies, we have found a theme,
I
and we've
love
been
it.
talking about this theme for a few years, but I think this is the year, so I can't wait to just jump on the phone with them and be like, okay, we have a speaker.
I love it. I'm really looking forward to it, and I can't thank you enough for the opportunity.
You are so welcome. Now, there are three questions that I love to ask all of my guests. And I'm excited to ask you because I can't wait to hear what you're going to do. Okay, so what's one bold promise that you can share with your audience?
One bold promise that I can share with my audience. I promise that I will show up all the time, 100% when it comes to the passion, when it comes to being transparent, and when it comes to being honest. I will share my experiences. If they help, I have no problem being transparent. And I will also show up to any event or engagement that I am invited to and be prepared to share how I can help my community and the community of others. So that is my promise.
Beautiful. Preparation is key, guys.
Mhm.
And always show up. You know, excuses don't give you results. So you can
There you
always find an
go.
excuse not to show up somewhere,
Yes.
but
And every
excuses don't
opportunity is
give
a
you
learning
results.
opportunity. I had to tell myself
Yes,
that too. Yes. So
yes,
like this is
yes.
a first for me, but it's helping me get more comfortable in front of the camera, work on my talking points. So yes, every opportunity is a learning opportunity.
I love it. Thank you so much. What's a bold statement that you can share with your audience that will cause a paradigm shift?
Hmm. What can I say? I want to say children's books should prioritize teaching empathy and emotional intelligence over traditional academic achievements. Don't kill me, but I'm just
I
saying,
love it. I love it.
shaping,
Absolutely. Yes.
shaping well-rounded individuals for a more compassionate society is something that
Yes.
we should all strive for. Academics is great, don't get me wrong, but emotional intelligence is definitely should not take a backseat to academic achievements. So that
Yes.
is my paradigm.
Lean into your emotions.
There you go.
And I feel like this is going to be really big and you may not even be able to say, but what's a bold move that you'd like to make in the future?
Honestly, if I'm thinking really in the future, I have always thought about doing like a TED talk, and I I don't know.
Stop it.
No, seriously, I have always wanted to do a TED talk, and if the future will allow me to have that opportunity, I will take it on. So yes,
Oh,
that
wow.
is
That's amazing. Go ahead,
a bold
girl.
move for the
Go
future.
ahead and do that TED Talk. You
Thank
know,
you.
the universe has a way of just moving mountains to give us what we want. So you never
Mhm.
know how soon that's coming, but I have a feeling it's pretty soon.
Oh, I love
Oh
it.
my goodness, beautiful. And where can the audience continue to hear these great messages that you have to share?
Yes, log on to lilmonsterjourney.com. So
Mhm,
LILMONSTR journey, JOURNEY.com. And
mhm.
on there, you will see all of the things that I have to offer. And you can also sign up for newsletters, give me your email. If there are specified, I don't know, challenges that you're having in terms of individually or as a parent, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am looking forward to connecting with everyone that wants to hear what I have to say and giving the advice that I can give. So don't hesitate, lilmonsterjourney.com.
Beautiful. That's how you keep connection. And you did say you had a link that you would share with the
Yes,
audience.
yes,
Okay.
yes. I will
So
share the
please,
link. It's the link to the website. So you have the attachment there. And maybe I'll plug in my socials as well, just so
okay.
that maybe I can reach people in more than one capacity.
Please do. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I
Mhm.
appreciate you for coming up here and sharing this strong message about leaning into emotions and different kinds of emotions for our children and just opening up the world of opportunities for you because I can see that someone's going to see you, hear you, and want more. You
Hope
have,
so.
oh my goodness, you have a strong message, and it's important to get it out there. Thank you, Mona.
Right?
Thank you, thank you, thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate it.
yeah, we will invite you back if you have another project or another book. We would love to have you come back and share. But this is a great book, and I can't wait for me to get my hands on it so that I can share or work with it,
Mhm.
work with my grandchildren with this book. So please, 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 just give us the link again, and I'll grab mine. It's on Amazon.
It is on Amazon, but I am selling it from my website. I wanted
Yes,
to
girl.
ship it with a little bit more personality.
Yes.
So yes, littlemonsterjourney.com. You can put all your
Mhm.
orders in through there, and I'm adding bonus gifts into each and every package. So encouraging you and incentivizing you to order from littlemonsterjourney.com, and every order will get a free gift.
And that is the best place to sell your book, guys, because Amazon is as rich as you know what. So let's support our people, our authors. I'd love to have your book in our bookstore. I have a bookstore.
Oh,
It's called the Bold Bookstore. I'll talk to you more about it so that you can put your book on our bookstore.
yeah, I would love that. Love that opportunity. Thank you for thinking of me.
Of course. Thank you for coming and sharing. And if you would like to write a book and publish it, go to author Denise Nicholson or author dnicholson@gmail.com. Send me an email and I will share with you how you too can write your book, get your book idea out of your head and onto paper so you can make a change and a difference in this world. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thank you for joining us for the Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a central hub and a safe space for authors to share their stories. Follow Dr. Denise on Facebook and Instagram at Denise Nicholson or go to denisenicholson.com. Remember, no one can share your story better than you.